in round 6 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Italy at Faenza. Tom Vial grabbed his 7th foxhole shot of the season on what was a dramatic first lap. Ben Watson slid out there whilst well placed. 2 other riders, Rowan van der Moosdijk, Alvin Osland, had their own little scrapes as well, and that incident with Van der Moosdijk damaged his Kawasaki. Watson in the wars again, so too Van der Moosdijk. Ruben Fernandez, Bailey Malkovich came together as well. But when the race settled down, Stefan Rabini eventually started to carve his way through the field to an eventual 7th as the 2 French riders, Mathis Borromée and Tom Vial, battled. Vial actually led the race until he made a mistake, and then that brought him into the clutches of Borromée and Conrad Muse. Muse came home in 5th. And every time Vial thought he'd made the pass stick to go back into 3rd, Borromée just kept duffing him up. Late in the race, Jed Beaton made a move on Borromée to move into 6th place, but once again, the elbows came out between the Kawasaki rider and the KTM rider, and it was the Kawasaki of Borromée that kept winning out that battle for 3rd place. Vial had to settle for 4th, Muse 5th, but it was Jago Geert who was victorious in race 1. MX2, race 2. This time, Jago Geert from the centre of the gate to grab his 3rd foxhole shot of the season. But immediately, Maxime Renaux, who was 2nd in race 1, carved up the inside and took the lead. Vial was quickly into 2nd, Borromée 3rd, Jago Geert's 4th, but before the end of the lap, the Belgian was through. As Maxime Renaux started to disappear, the top 2 in the championship, 1st and 2nd, Vial and Geerts were 2nd and 3rd in the race. But in the later stages, Vial got his claws into Maxime Renaux, but then 1 or 2 mistakes meant that Renaux started to break free, and it was he who went on to grab his 1st career race win and overall victory. Vial was 2nd, Geerts was 3rd, Borromée and Van der Moosdijk running out the top 5 in the race, but Renaux victorious for the first time, Geerts 2nd, Vial 3rd. And in the championship, Vial's lead now down to 3 points over Jago Geerts. Renaux up to 3rd, Beaton up to 4th, and the Moosdijk down to 5th after not scoring in race 1. But a fantastic day here for the Yamaha SM Action MC Miuri J1 racing rider Maxime Renaux. A career 1st victory here in Italy, but Vial still leads MX2.
Yeah, that was incredible. One of the best days of my life for sure. Pulled the whole shot in the 2nd race, and then managed to, just to lead off the race. And yeah, it was really hard, really tough, really hot here. So physically it was quite hard, but managed to do it, and I'm really happy with that. Let's keep going on that pace.
MXGP race 1 again, centre of the gate, Ivo Monticelli on the standing construct gas with his 3rd whole shot of the season. Jorge Prado, though, quickly into the lead, but by the time they got through turns 4 and 5, Monticelli was back up front briefly. Herlings was in 3rd, DeSalle 4th, Cairoli in 5th. A bobble here allowed not 1, but 2 KTMs to go by as Prado and Herlings moved Monticelli aside. Out of 6 was Fevre. He picked himself up, only to go down again. He would charge through the field. This pass on Jessiconis got him into 10th, but he would eventually work his way up to 6th place. All eyes on the battles up front, though, and Tim Geiser went down by himself and damaged his bike in that little crash. He lost 2 more positions on the final lap, would eventually come home in 8th. Lap 13, though, it was all change at the front. Jeffrey Herlings went by Jorge Prado. Siwa passed Cairoli. Fevre moved by Coldenhoff as he moved into 6th place. On the final lap, though, Prado fell from 2nd, handing the advantage to Siwa and Cairoli. It was Herlings who took his 4th race win of the season. MXGP race 2, this time Jorge Prado with his 3rd foxhole shot of the season. It was 3 KTM through the 1st turn. Herlings quickly into 2nd. Tonus not fortunate this time around. Cairoli eased by Clement DeSalle. DeSalle eventually faded back to 16th place, but Gauthier Paulin caught his leg on the jump going into the turn. He was Superman'd off the bike from 4th. would eventually pick himself up to finish 11th. Then Geiser, though, lost ground to Febvre. Febvre eventually came home in 4th with that pass. The battle for the lead once again on lap 13. Herlings and Prado. Herlings muscled his way past his young teammate. Jeremy Seewer, just like he was in race 1, was all over the back of the KTMs and split them as well with 4 or 5 laps to go. Cairoli also carved his way up the inside of Prado, who eventually faded to 6th. Cairoli was registered 3rd, ahead of Febvre and Geiser. Jeffrey Herlings, though, on course for back-to-back wins, but his first double win of the season. Seewer was 2nd, Cairoli was 3rd. The overall Grand Prix victory, though, belonged to Jeffrey Herlings. 90 Grand Prix victories now equals Cairoli's tally. Seewer was 2nd for the 2nd time this year, Cairoli 3rd. And Herlings now 60 points clear of Cairoli. Geiser has dropped to 3rd place. Jessica is 4th, Seewer now to 5th. But that was your podium. Jeffrey Herlings, Jeremy Seewer and Tony Cairoli. And 90 Grand Prix wins now for the Bullet, who continues to lead MXGP.
Well, it's amazing, you know, to equal the big on Tony Cairoli, you know, with 90 GP wins. There's one guy left on the list, which means it's Stefan Everts. You know, he was my idol when I was younger, so I hope to one day catch up to his one-on-one wins. But for now, let's focus on the championship, try to be consistent, be good. Second motor was like a copy of the first one, more or less, but felt harder than the first motor, but we did good. Once again, I want to thank Red Bull KTM Racing Team, the crew in Offshed Home, everyone here at the racetrack. Thank you so much for making all this happen. Thank you.